2024, the latest sci-fi thriller, Slingshot is coming. Man wakes up leisurely from space dormancy capsule. He was so confused that he didn't know where he was. Simply the prompt of the intelligent voice. Let it gradually recover its memory. The original high-speed development of technology. Although it has been possible for humans to travel in space, but the drug for dormancy has just been developed. There are many side effects, symptoms such as headaches, nausea and confusion. Even astronauts with excellent physical fitness, it takes a long time to wake up, but he hasn't waited for his thoughts to fully recover. The captain ran over and told Nash, go to the cockpit, just because it may be before reaching the destination. The last communication that can be received in the not-too-distant future. Human overexploitation has led to the gradual depletion of the Earth's resources, but officials are suspected of observing near Saturn. It's a moon called Titan. It has a wealth of resources, and the three were ordered to go there, execute exploration missions, listen to the words of encouragement from the leader. Nash quickly expressed that he would definitely complete the task smoothly, then let the remaining to go to sleep again. It turns out that, in order to save materials and prevent accidents, they do it without special circumstances. Only one person is left on duty. Then there are shift replacements every 3 months. The spaceship was flying smoothly as usual, but there was an accident on duty this time. One day Nash suddenly heard, in the distance, an ex-girlfriend's call came. Incredible. He carefully walked over to check, but found that there was no one around quietly, and we didn't know what was going on. He saw the spaceship suddenly shake. Then the lights started to flicker. Then the next second, the violent shock knocked him to the ground. The blaring alarm echoed in the hallway. Fortunately, it didn't take long for this to return to normal. But not before Nash celebrates his survival. Just see, a screw on the upper board came off. He was just about to reach out to see what was going on. The next second, he doesn't know how long it has been. Nash was finally called up by his companion. The emergency just now has forcibly awakened the two of them. When they checked, they found a large crater above. Apparently something hit the ship, but they looked at external cameras and got nothing. And after diagnosis, it was found that the system was not damaged in any way. This made several people feel a little incredible. They can only report this strange situation to Earth first, but also because it was beyond the receiving range, no response was received at all. Captain, based on the current situation, offered to maintain the original plan and move forward, but John said, although there is no abnormality on the instrument, but the collision of the spacecraft is real, no one can guarantee that after the body structure is deformed, is the spaceship still safe. It is recommended to take advantage of the short flight distance now, turn around and return immediately. But Captain always refused on the grounds that the danger was not clearly established. He doesn't think it can be done for a little risk. Just end this expensive interstellar exploration. As an astronaut, they should have been ready to die when they set out. Both have good and reasonable reasons. For a moment, Nash didn't know who to lean towards, seeing that there are differences of opinion among several people. The captain suggests that the original count first, row on sailing. All three are waiting for news from Earth again. Then based on the information received, decide on the next course of action. There is no way now. It can only be like this temporarily, but unfortunately, as you fly farther and farther, the view of receiving messages gradually dimmed, and the endless waiting also made John completely lose patience. Keep persuading Nash, stop having unrealistic fantasies. Just saying, the system flickered again, and returned to normal. This is the second time this has happened recently. But no matter how you diagnose it, you can't find the slightest fault. The scene in front of Nash also began to hesitate, and this is the moment. The captain called the two to a meeting again. He said it would be a waste of resources for everyone to wait here. Decides to reinstate the rotation system. Let them go to sleep first. He himself continues to hold hands here waiting for news. Nash didn't think much of it. He was going to sleep directly. But now John sneaked over. He called it a 3-month dormancy cycle, enough to reach Jupiter, and the original plan. It's the edge of the orbit of Jupiter that the spacecraft enters first, then directly increase the speed according to the attractive force of the track, and ejected onto Titan. He guessed that the captain was just trying to buy time, continue the mission. At that time, no matter what happens again, it will not be able to return. John suggested that to wake up a day earlier. If there is an accident, it can be stopped in time, and then drive the spacecraft in the opposite direction of Jupiter, an accelerated return to Earth under attractive forces. Nash is still swaying. John continued to say, the current conditions are simply not suitable for continued flight, but the captain has become extremely paranoid in order to complete the task. He's the one who broke the rules. Who knows what other excesses would he do for the mission? In its non-stop, encouraged by Nash, he finally agreed, but he said that if nothing happens when he wakes up, we must continue to travel to Titan as originally planned. What the two don't know is their conversation. The captain, who has been watched for a long time, heard it clearly. Pretty soon, time has come to the end of the dormancy cycle, but Nash, who gradually regained consciousness, suddenly saw the ex-girlfriend is standing not far away. But after a closer look, the figure disappeared again. He feels that this situation should be caused by dormant drugs. It turns out that the other party is also a preparatory astronaut. The two met during a lecture and fell in love quickly because of their similarities in status and education. But to avoid emotional impact on work, official regulations, astronauts cannot fall in love while in service. Therefore, Zoe gave up her dream and retired directly. But soon after, Nash was selected for this mission. Although this is a great honor for astronauts, but it was a major blow to the relationship between the two. It will take at least 4 years just to complete the mission and then return. That's assuming everything goes well. But he knows this, or choose the dream without hesitation. Disappointed, Zoe even broke up. Nash feeling it should be his own inner guilt induced by sleeping pills. As a result, every time you wake up, you will see each other's figure. And just thinking, and John came to me. He quickly told the other party his guess. John quickly claimed to understand how he missed him. That being the case, all the more reason to return immediately to pursue happiness. Then he said that he had secretly reversed the direction of flight. Soon, he can come home and surprise Zoe. Looking at the Titan that is close at hand, the dream of spaceflight once again filled Nash's heart. He said he should not make decisions behind the captain's back. Just as the two were arguing, the captain came in and asked, "Don't worry, Nash, everything is under your control." Only then did John realize that the plan had already been discovered, but still frantic. He said he wanted to return immediately. He always felt that the captain was so persistent. There must be something to hide. Watching each other go crazy, the captain said that after re-establishing contact with the ground, be sure to report his gaffe truthfully. John turned away with an indifferent face, but his words made Nash's heart tremble again. Look at the hole that has been resealed. After thinking for a long time, decided to check it out again. But he was just going to feel if the structure of the spaceship could hold. He saw a screw collapse directly. Immediately the damaged body collapses rapidly, sucked out of the cabin. Nash hurried to resist the huge suction force. But in the end I didn't hold on. Also incarnated as cosmic dust. It turned out that everything just now was his own hallucination. In fact, he also had a little doubt about the captain in his heart, but it doesn't help to be swaying right now. Soon the spacecraft entered the attractive force orbit of Jupiter. He can only operate in anxiety and accelerate. The spaceship also began to shake violently under the full sprint, but at this moment, the system suddenly automatically turned off. When the power is low, the speed also starts to drop rapidly. They may be attracted by Jupiter's attractive forces, totally inseparable, but now all they can do is pray. Fortunately, the system rebooted after a while. The spaceship rushed out of the most dangerous area without a hitch. All three of them breathed a sigh of relief. The rest is just to fly on a fixed trajectory. But then something weird happened. First, when Nash was monitoring the radio, received a messy message. After being scanned by radar, he couldn't find the source of the signal. And then John found a reaction. The reactor power suddenly dropped to 20% of its usual level, and there's no way to find out what went wrong. And with solar panels alone, there was no way back. Just at this moment, the captain called everyone together again. He said that after checking, he found that someone tampered with the power data privately, although the programming has always been handled by John. But the last login shows a Nash account. The captain said that when he couldn't find out who was behind it, they can only agree that both of them enter the dormant cabin first. He woke them both up just as they were about to land. As he spoke, he took out his gun. There is no way to be in danger of life. The two can only do it obediently. But Nash just entered the hibernation pod. He saw the captain take John down with a blow from behind. Then he punched the other person's head a few times. Kill it completely. The splattered blood quickly dyed the observation window red. He had just been injected with dormant medicine, but he was powerless to stop it. He could only gradually fall asleep in panic. When he wakes up again, the observation window has been restored to its original state, as if it never happened. He quickly found the captain and asked, but the other party's words made it instantly creepy. Captain said, it was just the two of them on the spaceship from start to finish. It must have been the dormant drug that made it hallucinate, although knowing that the other party must be lying. But the gun in his hand made Nash afraid to retort in person. He can only wait for the opportunity with hypocrisy. But looking at Nash's absent-minded appearance, the captain thought he was troubled by Zoe's figure again. Finally couldn't help but tell the truth. He called Zoe just an official bait. The goal is to influence Nash's mood, test his attitude, and determination to carry out the task. Nash felt even more ridiculous. Finally angrily scolded each other, but the captain detailed. The scene where the two met for the first time says, that's no coincidence, but deliberately arranged, in order to convince them, and he gave some details that only he and Zoe knew. This surprised Nash. He carefully recalled every bit of his relationship with Zoe. Discover, there are indeed many doubts that do not stand up to scrutiny. But right now, the radio suddenly received news from Earth. The other side said they had already asked them not to take the risk. Return immediately. Why is the spacecraft still being detected on its way to Enceladus? Now Nash is finally sure that there must be something wrong with the captain. He immediately informed the ground of the situation and called for help. But then the signal was lost again. Disconnect. Nash could only pretend to believe he was hallucinating. But in the end, he still has to go to John's hibernation pod to confirm. Then take advantage of it. Quickly ran into his own lounge, unlocked the door. Then he said he had been informed of the instructions on the ground. But the captain said it was just his fantasy. This place is more than 900 million kilometers from the Earth. It is impossible to receive any message from the ground. If he doesn't believe me, go to John's hibernation pod to confirm. Nash thought about it, and it seemed that was indeed the case. After thinking for a long time, I still opened the hatch.
Okay, take me to Nash.
But in the next second, the captain violently subdued him. Presented in Nash's brain, can no longer complete the task. Let him confirm it carefully and go back to the hibernation pod. Sure enough, there was no trace of John in the hibernation pod, but a realistic scene at that time appeared in front of him again. Nash felt that the other party must have hidden the body. Immediately grabbed the gun, while he is not prepared. The two scuffled together in an instant. The captain, who didn't kill, was knocked to the ground in a moment. Then Nash quickly ran into the cockpit, want to control the ship to return, but at this time, the other party is chasing after him. He said nothing and immediately took it again. Second knockdown to prevent getting back up. This time he hit hard. Soon the captain fell to the ground and passed out completely. Then he called the system with confidence, asking where John is, and the answer to that question left Nash puzzled. The intelligent voice said that the person was not in the cabin. He thought the system was malfunctioning. Try to ask where the captain is, and this time the answer is even more creepy. The intelligent voice actually indicates that this person is not in the cabin either.
Is the whole crew alive?
Yes, the crew is alive.
Feeling that something was wrong, he quickly called up the crew list and found out that it only had his own name on it. This scene finally woke up his consciousness. He just remembered he was the only one on the ship from start to finish, but the body was damaged and the reactor power was insufficient. These are real. The side effects of dormant drugs directly amplify the fear in their hearts, make teammates, so that he doesn't have to face the terrifying reality alone. Nash struggled and asked one last question.
Am I alone?
Yes.
In desperation, he had to use the radio to call for help. Seeking the slim life, he didn't expect someone to actually respond to him. And the voice is still Zoe. Nash replied softly in disbelief. He was afraid that this was another hallucination of his own. The other party hurriedly claimed that she was definitely a real person. After listening to it, he was about to get excited, but suddenly realized that something was wrong. It is impossible to receive a signal here at all. Zoe quickly explained that he had never left Earth. It turned out that he was indeed selected for a space mission. But because I don't know the dormant medicine that has just been developed, how serious are the side effects? So, let Nash enter the simulation cabin built underground first. Run a test. They didn't expect an earthquake to happen during the simulation. The various malfunctions of the spacecraft are caused by the impact of stones. Being buried deep underground also caused communication disruptions. Now, they have located where they were buried and have begun a rescue operation. Just Nash opens the airlock. Just walk outside the spaceship and wait. The ups and downs in his mood made him cry instantly. Get up quickly and get ready to leave here. But now the captain's figure appeared again. The other party told Nash now to open the airlock, claiming that everything I just heard was an illusion. If he goes out, he will be thrown into space in an instant. But this time Nash is no longer listening to his rhetoric. He opened the airlock and walked out.
Outer door will open in 15.
Don't do this!
14. 13.
The captain no longer stopped him. Watching the other person leave, Nash called Zoe again worriedly, but got no response from the other party. But now the countdown is over. He can only wait and easily for his own ending. Fortunately, after the smoke cleared, what emerges is an underground building. Nash is glad he finally picked the right one. At this time, there was a sound of an electric drill above. He was so excited that he screamed for help. But suddenly all the sounds around disappeared. The silence made him familiar with a hint of unease. Think of something. He closed his eyes and listened carefully. Random. He heard the faint sound of countdown. Next second,